Monica fashion, she's using her experience to help kids battling cancer. We'll explain how you can help. What's New starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Oh, and we are so excited to share that update on Monica. So many people have been asking. They've been asking about the wristbands. We have lots of information to give you tonight on Monica and about a whole lot of other topics. Thanks so much for choosing What's New this evening. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Betsy, a very good Friday to you and to everyone watching from home.
You too. And I mentioned we have a lot to get to tonight. As cases remain high here in Ohio, Governor DeWine has called in the National Guard to help our hospitals deal with the surge in patients. Plus, we're learning a lot more about how quickly the Omicron variant is spreading. And we're going to get all of that in a minute. But first, we have breaking news to tell you about. The Cleveland Browns game tomorrow has been postponed due to COVID.
Yes,
Jay?
It has. And Betsy, this is the right move, in my opinion, by the NFL. So here's the deal. No game tomorrow. Instead, they're going to move it to Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock kickoff. This is the NFL stepped in and had to do something with the growing number of COVID positives that are on the Browns roster. So how much that's going to help in terms of delaying it for 2 days? Well, that's anybody's guess right now, because Nick Camino joins us now here on What's New. And Nick, the positive COVID tests just keep on coming for the Browns, including 2 more big names that tested positive today.
Yeah, Jay, I mean, really the trend that we've seen all week continued today even more so. And we kind of got the feeling this is the way things were going. And now, as you pointed out, it's official. The NFL stepping in and saying, OK, we're going to postpone this game. They're going to move it. The game that was set for tomorrow at 4:30 has been moved to Monday at 5 o'clock. So there is a Monday Night Football game that night at 8:20 between the Minnesota Vikings and the Bears. But this game will happen earlier at 5 o'clock. We know this was a difficult decision. Had to happen, though. The Browns have had a total of 24 players, including 12 starters, who either tested positive for COVID-19 this week or were still on the COVID-19 reserve list from last week. So it was just this snowball effect that we've seen today. Jadeveon Clowney, Mack Wilson, and linebacker Tony Fields were all added to that list, as well as Kareem Hunt. I know he's dealing with an ankle injury, but he was added to the list as well. Now, I want to make something clear here. The Browns, as Jay pointed out, they are fortunate that this game is being moved because they may get some players back, especially with the new NFL protocols that are in place. On top of that, though, Jay, the Raiders wanted to play this football game. There were reports that felt like that they were saying, hey, there were protocols that were put in place over the summer that said, hey, if there's an outbreak of sorts, that's on the team. So in other words, that would be on the Browns. They felt like, okay, we're in a position where we're kind of favored now to win this football game. So they wanted to play. And on top of that, there were some protocols that were discussed and talked about in the summer where if there was an outbreak, which the Browns clearly have, there could be a forfeit. Now, I know a lot of people look at the Raiders and they're like, well, okay, this is a 6-7 football team. But if they were to beat the Browns, both teams would be 7-7. They would then have the tiebreak over the Browns. So the Las Vegas Raiders right now, I think, Jay, are pretty upset with the way things have happened, where it's, wait a minute, we're ready to play. We're 100% vaccinated. We've done our part. Why are we going to move this game to Monday? That's kind of what they're saying.
And you almost can understand that. However, when the protocols were set at the beginning of the year, the commissioner changed them to what they currently are as an incentive for teams to go out and get vaccinated. And all but one player on the Browns have the vaccine. Yeah. So this isn't like, they haven't done what they needed to do to protect themselves. Once the players got vaccinated, the league changed the protocols in terms of having to wear masks and the daily testing and everything else. But obviously, with this new variant that is highly transmissible, we're seeing outbreaks, and the NFL, although slow to make a change, I think Nick did the right thing here, because I don't know how in the world you could expect the Browns to field a team and play a game tomorrow with more than 20 COVID positives.
No, I'm obviously with you. I think the right decision was made. I was pointing out, what the Raiders, obviously they're upset about it, but no, this is the right decision. And here we are. There's a couple of weeks left in this season. I mean, the product on the field, if you're starting a third-string quarterback, I mean, that really waters down the results at the end of the season. Again, we know there are things that are much bigger than sports, Jay. There's the health and safety of everybody is top priority. But saying that, I mean, if you're having this third string quarterback play this in this big time game, this gives guys a chance to make it to the game, to have a chance to come back.
Yeah, and everybody wants to see the best available team on both sides. And trust me, if the shoe was on the other foot, the Raiders would be screaming the same thing the Browns are.
And we'd be saying, let's play, right? We'd be saying, let's go play.
That's the way it goes. All right, Nick, thanks. We'll see you in the next half hour. All right, now on your feet at 5, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we had another huge number of new COVID cases here in the state of Ohio today. 10,025 was the reported number. This marks the third straight day that we have been over 10,000 new cases. That has happened just one other time during the pandemic. In fact, we hit 4 straight days over 10,000 cases back in mid-December of 2020. That was almost exactly 1 year ago. Also, this number is important. We haven't been telling you the number of deaths because for so long they went down, but it needs to be mentioned. Ohio has now lost more than 1,000 souls to COVID-19 in the last 10 days. That is more than 100 daily COVID-19 deaths just in the state of Ohio. The overwhelming majority of those deaths were among the unvaccinated.
Well, Jay, the other important number to look at here is the number of hospitalizations. 395 more patients were admitted to the hospital overnight, bringing our total to just over 4,700 patients across the state. Right now, COVID patients are taking up 18% of the state's hospital beds. That's up about 3% from just 2 weeks ago. Now, the situation is so dire in our hospitals today that the governor is asking the Army National Guard for help. More than 1,000 soldiers will be deployed to Ohio hospitals. Our Emma Henderson has been tracking this developing situation, has the latest for us this evening. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Betsy. So 1,050 National Guard members will be deployed as soon as Monday. Now, the governor says the areas they're going to go to are the places with the highest need. They're going to be getting the most assistance. So places like right here in Northeast Ohio. Now, these National Guard members will include 150 medical personnel, mostly nurses and EMTs. The governor making this decision because we're seeing the most Ohioans hospitalized due to COVID since December of 2020. More than 4,700 people and local medical professionals have not stopped fighting this virus since it first got here. In addition to the National Guard, the state is also finalizing a contract with a nurse staffing organization to provide even more assistance.
At this point in the pandemic, a great focus is going to be on the Cleveland area, the Canton area, the Akron area. That's where at Worcester, that's the area we're seeing the most dire situation at this point.
This is all happening as the Cleveland Clinic announced 1/3 of the 3,000 tests they're giving daily are coming back positive for COVID. And 2 days ago, Metro Health recorded a record number of COVID patients. Now, I reached out right here at Metro Health, at Cleveland Clinic, and at University Hospitals. University Hospitals responded saying that the governor is accurate with the assessment that they do need assistance and that they welcome any help the state is willing to give. Betsy?
Certainly, we always say thank you to our service members, but in this case, thanks again and for coming to the rescue on this as the surge continues. Emma, thanks for reporting live for us tonight. Jay?
Well, Betsy, as the holidays approach, we're keeping a very close eye on the Omicron variant. This is quickly spreading across the globe as well as our state. Isabel Lawrence is breaking down what we know about this Omicron variant of COVID-19. Isabel, good evening to you. What have you found?
Yeah, good evening, Jay. So in that press conference earlier this morning, Governor Mike DeWine warned that the Omicron variant will, quote, sweep across the state. So I spoke with a doctor here at the Cleveland Clinic who broke down what we need to know about that variant and how it could impact our hospital system. So he told me that the Omicron variant was first detected in South Africa about 6 weeks ago. Now, it was first detected here in Ohio December 11th. There are still a lot of unknowns about Omicron, but the doctor I spoke with here said it seems that people who are vaccinated are still much more protected against it than people who aren't. He also said it seems like the severity of the disease is not as bad as previous variants. One difference, though, is how fast Omicron spreads.
at this point of time, it seems that Omicron is definitely going to have a higher infectivity rate than Delta. And that's a problem with new mutations in viruses, right? Because with each subsequent mutation, you just don't know like what exactly the virus is going to be doing.
Again, the concern here is the virus spreading and putting a strain on the hospitals, which, again, we already heard earlier this evening, really feeling that pressure right now.
Yeah, no question about that. Isabel, this Omicron variant, does it look any different in terms of how it's affecting the patients and the symptoms?
Yeah, so I did ask the doctor, Jay, and he told me that it is still a respiratory virus, so no big differences here in terms of what you're going to see with symptoms. So still look out for the same things we've been looking for the entire pandemic, right? Those muscle aches, fever, sore throat, fatigue, those general feelings of being unwell are going to be the same symptoms that appear for the Omicron variant.
All right, Isabel Lawrence reporting for us live on What's New. Isabel, thank you.
Well, with all that going on, if you're still planning to travel for Christmas or New Year's, get ready to share the air and the roadways with lots of people. AAA estimates more than 109 million Americans will travel for the holidays. And when it comes to flying, airlines will see an increase of 184% compared to last year.
Holiday bookings, particularly for Christmas and the New Year's holiday, are coming in very, very strong.
Well, United Airlines added more than 200 daily domestic flights to meet demand. Meanwhile, the majority of travelers seem to be drivers. 100 million Americans will be hitting the roads. Gas Buddy is predicting the national average per gallon will drop to $3.25 for Christmas Day. That's down 10 cents from highs during the Thanksgiving holiday, but just a penny away from the priciest Christmas on record, which was back in 2013. Well, coming up next for us here on What's New, sometimes you just have to laugh. This Browns situation certainly has come to that. And with that in mind, what some of our viewers are saying about the Browns postponement.
And Westlake native Jake Paul says something is not right with his mental health, and he's pointing to his experience as a boxer as the likely culprit. Kiera has all the details coming up in Pop Break.
And as far as the forecast goes, well, I'm looking outside. I can still see some daylight in the horizon. We're not quite totally dark, but as the evening wears on, of course, we know it'll be darker. And the clouds are not going to be going anywhere. If you're going out to check out some holiday lights this evening, it looks like it's going to be rather comfortable. Temperatures not moving all that much tonight as rain moves in. We're going to talk about what is going to end up being kind of a cold and raw Saturday and why we are already winning in the weather for the Browns game. Well, with more than 20 players and 2 coaches on the COVID list for our Brownies, it kind of feels like, of course, something like this would happen to our team, right?
Betsy, the one thing that we have learned about being lifelong Browns fans, there always is some kind of drama. There's always something that has us scratching our head saying, wait, this is going to happen now? And we've been through just about everything. And now we've got the COVID outbreak. And we want to state this up front, we are very thankful that none of these players' symptoms seem to be serious. Many of them don't even know they're sick. So in an effort to sort of boost everyone's moods, we're sharing a few pictures that our What's New Facebook friends posted depicting the situation. We'll start with Dennis. He shared this picture. The top says, Browns fans season plan. It shows he's just riding a bike there, leisurely coasting towards the finish line. But then the bottom says reality has kicked in. And you can see that it's just a series of all kinds of trials and tribulations, holes, a bridge, a pond, it's raining. And that's kind of the way this season has felt, Bets.
Yeah, that is exactly how it feels, certainly. Well, Christine posted this picture and wrote, whoever has the Browns voodoo doll, please stop. I think there's a lot of people who think there must be some kind of voodoo magic on our team, certainly. And then Mary Ellen posted this picture of a bunch of kids in Browns jerseys running onto the field there. And the caption is, our backups are ready. Go Browns. And of course, we know that things have changed now. We don't have to, have the team on the field on Saturday. That game has been moved. But, as you mentioned earlier, Jay, that doesn't necessarily mean, poof, all of a sudden we're going to have all the starters back and everything's going to be just fine by Monday. Yeah.
In fact, you would think that the players who just tested positive today, I don't see how they're going to possibly be ready, because today to Monday is still just 2 days away, 3 days away if you're lucky. So yeah. I still think they're going to be without a number of big name players. Let's just hope they get some of them back.
Definitely. Well, I will tell you this. As far as weather, we are already winning on Monday. That is a huge benefit of moving this game. I know the COVID part of it is not so great. But as far as the weather goes, Monday's weather is light years better than what we have coming our way for tomorrow. Right now, we are sitting in the 30s and 40s in Northeast Ohio. There you see it, mid and upper 30s to right around the 40-degree mark in our area. The rain is just starting to show up on our southern periphery there, down to the south. We will see this moving north as we go through the night. Could be a little mix on the start of this as those temperatures are just above freezing. And you can see here on the satellite and radar, we've been seeing the clouds stream in through the day today. Maybe you got to see a little bit of that veiled sunshine. But as the evening goes on, more and more of this mix and rain will start to move in, and we'll be out for a soaker tomorrow. Expanding the picture just a little bit, you can see that swath of rain now moving into Indianapolis and places like Cincinnati, Louisville. This is all moving our way as we go through the night tonight. And the really big picture shows that the train of rain goes all the way back into Oklahoma. So we kind of have this steady stream that comes in. At the same time, that whole stream is very slowly moving eastward. So we will see improving conditions by the end of the day tomorrow, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be gangbusters in the morning. Here's your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Note that our temperatures are in the upper 30s to right around 40 for the evening, so temperatures won't be moving. As the rain moves in, you may notice some thick rain or maybe a little sleet mixed in from time to time as we kind of get more and more into the overnight. It will be predominantly rain that is falling, and you can see that the temperatures still right around 40 degrees. It is a cold rain. That is how we start the day tomorrow, everybody, that cold rain and play. Can you imagine being out at tailgate, 38 degrees and rain? It would be disgusting. And then we also have the same kind of scenario setting up for the afternoon. Now, there'll be a little bubble of warm air that comes in with the rain. That will mostly be south of Cleveland. So Cleveland's temperature really through the day tomorrow hovers right around 40 degrees. By the time we hit mid to late afternoon, we should start to see some improving conditions, but the temperatures are going to be going down. And you can see there by the end of the day, we are likely to have, considerably cooler temperatures, unfortunately. There's the bigger picture of the hour-by-hour forecast that I'm trying to deal with this computer situation. There we go. All right, Union Home Mortgage forecast. Let's take it full because we've got low 40s tomorrow with that rain in place. Then 30s for the day on Sunday with the flurries moving out. Monday, sunshine and 42. We have a beautiful night setting up for football here in Cleveland. And then through the rest of the week and off toward the holiday, temperatures in the upper 30s. We'll have to deal with clouds and maybe a few flurries. But other than that, it looks like we're headed for a green Christmas, Jay.
All right, Bets. Sounds good. Coming up, who was Matthew McConaughey's first celebrity crush? We're going to tell you the answer in Pop Break. Then the most wonderful time of the year is also the most stressful time of the year for many people. This couple, though, nails the holiday feeling in our Worth the Watch. It's a video you really have to see.
No, I'm just hanging right here. Okay. This is a
It's time now to get our daily dose of entertainment news with our Kiara Cotton. So, Kiara, what is going on with Mr. Big? What is this all about now?
Well, Betsy, it was just days ago that we were all excited about the premiere of the Sex and the City reboot. But for two women, it allegedly stirred up painful memories. On Thursday, two women accused Chris Noth, who plays Mr. Big on the series, of sexual assault. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the pair, who do not know each other, approached the outlet to share their stories. According to the women involved, the incidents took place in LA in 2004 and in New York in 2015. Noth released a statement to the Hollywood Reporter and said that the allegations are categorically false. He said, "No always means no. That is a line I did not cross. The encounters were consensual." Since the allegations, Peloton has suspended its popular ad starring Noth indefinitely. And Westlake native Jake Paul is opening up about the toll that boxing is taking on his body. After less than 2 years in the sport, the 24-year-old says he suffers from mood swings, memory loss, and slurred speech. In a recent interview, Paul claims to have had anywhere from 20 to 30 concussions in his lifetime. While Paul admits that the impact on his health are scary, he has no plans to slow down. He's set to take on Tyron Woodley in a rematch fight tomorrow on pay-per-view. And Matthew McConaughey is letting us all in on a little secret. He once had a crush on his Sing 2 co-star Reese Witherspoon. McConaughey, while on The Ellen Show, said that he developed a crush while watching the 1991 film The Man in the Moon.
Somebody write
One of my
this down.
early crushes. And if you've seen the movie, you see, I mean, inevitable. I mean, what's not to have a crush on? Look at this. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Unfortunately, the feelings weren't mutual, and Reese said that her first crush was Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison in the 1991 biopic The Doors. And last, but certainly not least, Betty White is turning 100 years old next month, and she's marking the occasion with a nationwide movie screening. Betty White, 100 Years Young, will premiere on January 17th and theaters nationwide. Betsy, are you in on that?
I am totally in on that, and I just have to say, sorry, Matthew McConaughey, you ain't all that. That's probably kind of rude, but that's where I'm at right now. Happy Friday to you, Kiara. Thanks so much for the pop break.
Sure thing.
Jay.
All right, I love this. Sometimes the holidays can feel like you're hopping on the crazy train, and this couple nailed that feeling with the help of Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train. Check this video out. Perfectly in sync, Bets, with a couple of rolls of wrapping paper.
At first glance, when that picture came up, I'm like, wow, Baker and Emily are trying to find things to do while they're quarantined right now. Doesn't it look like them? And I could see them doing something like that.
Well, the only way that this video could be more epic is if it were Baker and Emily performing. That's the only way it could be any better.
Certainly.
That made me laugh so hard when I saw it the other day. I thought, you know what? That's worth the watch. It's worth sharing.
Absolutely.
I love the intensity. Now, see, I kind of thought they had a Stephanie Haney, Mike Polk vibe going there. Just a little bit.
I could see that, although I think it would probably be a much quirkier, song. I don't know that it would be Crazy Train. We would have to find another one. Maybe we should put out a challenge on that.
Yeah, I think we should. I love the video. It made me laugh. Hopefully it helped your spirits as well. Coming up in the next half hour of What's New, the dominoes keep falling. More Browns players are out with COVID. Nick Camino joins us with who is still healthy enough to play. Plus, he'll break down the miracle that needs to happen in order for the Browns to pull out a W on Monday. Then we have an update on how our rock star, Monica Robbins, is healing after her brain tumor surgery. We'll also tell you how you can get a Monica Rocks wristband. A lot of you have asked about them. You can get one by donating to a great cause. And it is Fashion Friday. That means we're showing you how to snag new designer clothes and jewelry and do it at a discounted price just in time for the holidays. What's new? The second half hour is coming right up.
I got you. I'm on my way up there, ready to roll. Crawford still hanging out over here.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We start tonight at 5:30 with three things you need to know. First, Governor Mike DeWine ordered 1,050 members of the Ohio National Guard to help hospitals dealing with a surge of COVID cases. The governor explained that 150 of these members are highly trained medical personnel, nurses and EMTs. The other 900 will deal with a variety of tasks like transportation, food, and environmental work. They will start Monday and continue until further notice. Right now, more than 4,700 COVID patients are being treated in hospitals in the state. Today, the governor also encouraged schools to go back to masking for now.
Well, the Ohio Department of Education finished its investigation into Bishop Sycamore High School. You may remember that story. It was going on back in September. That was the mysterious Ohio high school. They appeared on national TV and in the process raised a whole lot of questions about what kind of school they really were. The team played on ESPN against IMG Academy down in Florida. They lost that game 58-0. Investigators said there's no evidence that the high school actually enrolled students or even had a physical location. Governor Mike DeWine said he's asked Attorney General Dave Yost to determine if criminal charges should be filed.
And we're learning more about the Omicron variant that's quickly spreading across the country. Doctors at the Cleveland Clinic say it seems that people who are vaccinated are still much more protected against it than people who are not vaccinated. They also say it seems like the severity of Omicron is not as bad as previous variants, but it is infecting people at a faster rate than Delta. Now, as of now, the symptoms seem to be the same as other variants, including sore throat, tiredness, and muscle aches. And I've heard a lot of people saying the sore throat actually is a little bit different than what has been previously reported. So stay on top of it. There's all kinds of crud going around right now besides the actual COVID virus, too. So get tested if you got to get tested and stay away from folks if you don't feel good. With all of that, I'm not trying to be your mother, but that's where I'm going. Thank you so much for staying with us here on What's New. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford.
That's okay, Bets. Look, from time to time, we all need a little extra mothering. And, you speak the truth, and it's all common sense stuff. The big unknown about this variant is how sick people will become once they contract it. The one thing that is stunning to me, the Browns are operating, Bets, at nearly 100% vaccination, yet they have 40% of their roster right now that's COVID positive. I don't know yet if these are Omicron cases or Delta cases, but whatever it is, it's finding its way through the vaccine. The big unknown, and this is what we're all waiting with bated breath to see, are people going to become as ill with this variant? And will it have the same mortality rate as we've seen in some of the other ones? That's the big unknown, and time will tell.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Absolutely, and Monica kept stressing that when the vaccines came out. The vaccine doesn't make you bulletproof. The vaccine hopefully keeps you out of the hospital. And so as these variants start to mess around with all that, that's where we kind of have to be careful and use our best common sense and our best judgment. And because I mentioned Monica, I have to say, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.
Yes, thank you. She appreciates that. All right, now this all sort of transitions into our top talker at 5:30. That is because it's COVID-based. The NFL finally stepping up and taking action today as it has now postponed tomorrow's scheduled game between the Browns and the Raiders. They've rescheduled it. It will now happen Monday at 5 o'clock over at First Energy. The league has also moved two other games, Seattle at the Los Angeles Rams and Washington at Philadelphia. Those games were scheduled for Sunday. They'll now play those games on Tuesday because of outbreaks with the Rams and the Washington football team. So with all of that, let's welcome back Nick Camino. Nick, they had to do this. They really did, with over 20 COVID positives on the player side alone, and more coaches have this as well. But more are testing positive every day. We still don't know who's going to be able to play come Monday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, Jay, I mean, this has been a mess all week, and today it just all continued. I know the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, before they were going to get set to go on the bus to get to the plane to come to Cleveland, they were saying, hey, we want to play this game, and there were protocols that were put in place in the summer that were saying there were going to be forfeits if a team had an outbreak, and that's clearly what the Browns have. But the NFL stepped in, and they did exactly what you said. They are not going to play this game tomorrow at 4:30. They have moved it to Monday at 5 o'clock, and that's just, I mean, everyone was kind of of pointing to these protocols that were put in place now just recently that will allow players to maybe come back, which the Browns may be able to have some guys come back. But as of right now, the guys that are on the list are staying on the list. And we do know this, the Browns are set for a practice tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning, and Kevin Stefanski is going to meet with the media tomorrow. But right now, I mean, the Browns have had, 20-plus players, 12-plus starters who either tested positive for COVID-19 this week or are still on the COVID-19 reserve list. So it's a clear outbreak. They're just hoping this delay to Monday will give them a chance to get some guys back. Now, here's what we learned today. The Browns placed running back Kareem Hunt on the COVID-19 list after testing positive for the virus. He was already out for the Raiders game. He has that ankle injury, remember, but he was a new addition to the COVID list. On the other side of the football, we also learned that Browns defensive end Jadeveon Clowney has also tested positive for COVID-19. Clowney has been sick for the last few days, but according to reports, he will be officially added to the COVID-19 list tomorrow. Let's stay on the defensive side of the football. Gosh, that Browns linebacker position has really been hit with all of this. Mack Wilson also tested positive for COVID-19. He has been added to the list. And to finish it off, I mentioned that Browns linebacking core being hit hard. Tony Fields was added to the COVID-19 list after testing positive for the virus. Fields is a rookie. The Browns drafted him out of West Virginia in the 5th round. That's where we are, Jay. That's the reality right now of the situation. That's the reality of trying to play sports right now with all of this going on. And while Monday does seem like a better option, there's no guarantees. I mean, I think there's some people that are feeling like, well, Baker Mayfield will be back. Well, no, that's not 100%. So we have to see kind of how this develops over the next 48 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be a wait and see for sure. We probably won't know until, I would guess, sometime Sunday as to which players will be available to the Browns and which one will not. A quick, not clarification, because you said it exactly the way it happened. But one point that I want to stress, at the beginning of the season when Roger Goodell was setting the protocols for the year, he said that there would be forfeitures if teams had outbreaks. And that was basically because we thought at that time that the vaccine would keep teams safe. Yeah. Well, the way things are spreading now, the Browns are 100% vaccinated. I'm told all but one player on the Browns team has been vaccinated. So this is not through any negligence of the Browns. This is just whether it's the Delta variant or it's the Omicron variant.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They got sick, and through no fault of their own. It wasn't because of any decisions that they made in terms of getting the vaccine or not. So the league, I thought, did a very well-placed pivot, because as of yesterday, it looked like this game was going to happen no matter what. They thought about it, cooler heads prevailed, and Roger Goodell making the right decision. Hopefully, they'll have the bulk of their team, or at least some of these big names, back by Monday.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope so. And I'm with you on the point. With the Raiders are going to be upset because they want to play right now, and I get all that. But to have a forfeit, you're right. I mean, that would be completely unnecessary given the fact that the Browns, as you point out, they're vaccinated. They've been following all the protocols. So, hopefully this gives them some time to get some guys back. And you know what, Raiders, you're just going to have to come to Cleveland and play a football game.
Yep, we'll see it on Monday at 5 o'clock. Nick, thanks.
You got it.
All right, everybody, check out this incredible holiday lights display. Not only is the yard and the house decked out, but someone special is also making an appearance there tonight and all weekend long. Oh, my word, I wonder what their electric bill is. We have details on that coming up next. Then we have another big update on our good friend Monica Robbins. She indeed does rock, and she is rocking on. We're also going to tell you how you can support kids battling cancer in her honor. And, of course, taking a look around town, it's pretty quiet here on a Friday night in CLE. We'll have a look at the forecast, which is going to get a little bit more active straight ahead.
Oh, does it come back?
Yeah, that comes back, right?
Okay. Camera 1. Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Jay Crawford of What's New. I want to take this opportunity to wish you and your family a marvelous and wonderful happy holiday season. And here's to hoping 2022 is a whole lot better than we've seen in 2021. Is that under 15? I have no idea. Okay, great. Thank you. Well, I think we could all use a little mood booster with today's news, so let's take a look at this live Christmas lights display on Shadow Creek Drive. This is in Medina. We showed you this display earlier in the week. It took Justin and his neighbors about 3 weeks, working 80 hours to set this whole thing up. It is absolutely beautiful. Some of these pieces date back to the 60s. They've got a lot of vintage items there. They ask that visitors, if they appreciate it, make a donation to St. Jude's Hospital. And tonight through Sunday, you can actually meet the Grinch. He's going to be out there, 6 to 10. We have all the information on our website, WKYC.com.
Man, where did they find all the electrical cords? Because seriously, like, I have more lights in my living room than I've had since last year at this time. I could not find an extension cord to save my life, so everything is kind of strung together. So there's a fire extinguisher standing by here to help me out, too. As far as the rest of the evening goes, friends, it is a little chilly and going to start feeling pretty damp out there. Over the next few hours, we will have rain moving in by probably about, the 10, 11 o'clock hour. It's moving in from south to north, so cloudy skies are going to be the rule for us, but the temperature should hold relatively steady. We're in the upper 30s to right around 40 right now, so it's going to be a cold rain when it comes in. Here's a look at the Doppler radar for you. You can see the rain isn't even into our immediate area yet, but it's going to start farther south first. So Belleville, Mansfield, Shelby, Ontario, even over toward Loudonville, you all are going to be getting the rain first and then sharing it farther north as the evening goes on. It's a big swath of rain that is coming in, not only for tonight, but it's going to linger through a good part of the day tomorrow, too. And as we expand that picture there, you can see that we do have rain that extends all the way back toward Oklahoma. Now, as far as this evening goes, as we zoom on into Cleveland and points beyond, we are expecting that rain to stay with us, and the temperatures are going to be on the raw side. Again, we're going to hold relatively steady. We will be in the 30s. We could have a little bit of mix from time to time, especially on the front end of the rain. And then tomorrow, as the rain moves out and the temperatures begin to drop, we could have a little bit of mixing taking place as well. But man, those of you holding Browns tickets for tomorrow's game probably just went, ugh, I didn't want to be out there in that. Although I know we're Browns fans, we're hardy folk. But it does look like it's going to be much more comfortable on Monday. All right, so here's the big picture of the National Design Mart forecast. You can see how that rain moves in tonight. Look how the rain extends all the way back into Texas as we get into the early morning tomorrow. Rain will be persistent through the first half of the day into the afternoon. It's not until mid to late afternoon the back edge of that rain finally starts to swing through. Once it does, that's when the temperature will begin to drop. And we are anticipating having some lake effect snow showers and flurries lingering into Sunday. Keep in mind, we are not expecting accumulation out of that. This is not going to be your white Christmas forecast, unfortunately. Here's your Union Home Mortgage outlook forecast for the weekend. We'll be in the low 40s for tomorrow, as mentioned, with that rain. 30s then for Sunday, with whatever flurries are left over ending. Back into the low 40s, but with sunshine on Monday. We're going to hold in the upper 30s then as we head through the rest of next week. Right now, no major travel woes setting up for Christmas Eve or the day before, so things are looking pretty good for us. Jay?
All right, Bets. Well, this is welcome news to so many of our 3 News viewers. We know you all love Monica Robbins as much as we do. Today, she gave us another update on her condition. Our rock star posted on Facebook that it looks like she's been in the worst bar fight ever, but she's hoping it adds to her street cred. And that right there is the humor of Monica Robbins. The tumor-infiltrated bone was 1 centimeter behind her brow. She's reminding all of us to speak up when we feel that something just isn't right with our health. She also, had she waited, by the way, she might be dealing with a lot more drama. So we're very thankful that she spoke out to her doctor saying something isn't right here. Monica says her eye is icky, but it's healing. She added that your love, prayers, and positive energy is getting her through everything. She's seeing all of those messages that you're posting. She also wants to remind everyone to tell those close to you just how much they mean to you and to enjoy this, so far, snow-free season. And of course, Monica is using her experience to help others. You can donate to Prayers from Maria Children's Cancer Foundation in Monica's name. The local group donates money to global research into the deadliest childhood brain tumors known as gliomas. Anyone who makes a donation of $10 or more will receive a Monica Rocks wristband. And we have a link to how you can donate. It's up on our website, WKYC.com. postponement.com. And Betsy, I know you wear yours. I have mine proudly around my little hot chocolate mug here. It's with me every day. And it's just a nice little reminder to check on Monica, to make sure that we look in on her and to see how she's feeling. But so far, so good.
Yeah, and, you know, everybody that we posted on, you know, our social media pages, and everybody came back with, where do I get a wristband? And I mentioned to our boss, Adam Miller, my captain, you know, we should try and figure something out. And Monica popped up right away with prayers from Maria. I want to do prayers from Maria. So it became just this awesome partnership. So we're very grateful for them to, you know, help us with the wristbands. But more importantly, we're really excited for you to help them, and at the same time give Monica a little shout out, which is just awesome.
It's typical Monica, too, always thinking of others, even in her time of need. We're thinking of you, Monica. Get well soon. We miss you.
Yep, that's a good girl. Keep doing what you're doing, because I know you're paying attention and listening to the doctor. Listen to the doctor, listen to the doctor, listen to the doctor. That's the new thing. All right, designer gear at discounted prices. Oh, it is the season, everybody. We'll show you how to score some beautiful jewelry and clothes without breaking the bank in time for the holidays. And then one local police officer was heading to a job when motorists flagged him down for help. What he did to save a woman's life and how he's being honored for his heroic actions, coming up. Oh yeah, it's Fashion Friday here on What's New, and you know I am in on a good bargain when I can get one. Well, if you've ever wanted to own authentic, unused luxury products, you don't want to pay the luxury prices, well, this is for you. Whether you are still looking for a last-minute Christmas gift, maybe for somebody else, or let's face it, for yourself, because that happens. There's a store available right at your fingertips that offers luxury products with deep discounts. It's called Shopworn. And the company sells name brand accessories that have only been used as display models in authorized retail stores. None of the products have been owned by someone else. They've simply just been out and, quote, worn in the store as displays.
There's brand new and there's pre-owned, but no one ever capitalized on selling goods from past seasons. And those goods are shop worn. Those goods were in the store, on display, but never consumer owned. They might have been gently handled by a sales associate, but never consumer owned. So they're not brand new, but they are shop worn. Our biggest selling category on the website is definitely watches, followed up to a close second by jewelry. But we also offer handbags and writing instruments and sunglasses and belts and sometimes ties from a tremendous amount of brands, and brands are being added all the time. We update merchandise on a weekly basis.
That's right. You might be able to step up from the Louis Vuitton and Nata Prada's, friends. Larry says that he is 100% confident you will get anything that you order on their website delivered by Christmas if you place the order by December 21st. And for those who are counting down, that is next Tuesday. Now, Shopworn was created in 2015. Larry says he was having dinner with a luxury brand executive discussing challenges that the industry faced with what to do with goods from past seasons. I can't believe that was even a conversation. But here's the deal. Instead of destroying the merchandise, he came up with Shopworn, and we are very grateful for it. Jay?
Yeah, I mean, what a waste it would be to destroy perfectly good merchandise, especially for those looking for a sale. All right, coming up, a local police officer was on his way to a job when he was flagged down by someone needing help. We have the story of his heroic life-saving actions and how he's being honored for them. Then on What Matters Most at 6, shopping thefts on the rise. We have a look at the suspects involved in the latest thefts at local stores and what police say you should do while out shopping.
Well, it was on this day in 1903 that the Wright brothers, who grew up near Dayton, made their first successful flight of an airplane. How far did it glide through the air? 120 feet, 310 feet, or 505 feet? We'll be right back with that answer.
It was on before. Now it's okay. Okay. Mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Where did she come from?
So is one my camera?
All right, before the break, we asked how far did the Wright brothers plane glide through the air on their inaugural flight? And the answer is 120 feet. Not the longest flight, but it was a really important one. They were in the air for 12 seconds. Jay.
Very important indeed. Well, today's show Us Something Good comes from the Westlake Police Department. The American Police Hall of Fame gave Officer Ryan Jasinski the prestigious Life-Saving Award. Listen to this story. This past summer, Officer Jasinski was on his way to Cleveland for an assignment when he was flagged down by motorists at the I-90-I-71 split. Christine Sable was involved in an accident. She was ejected 50 feet off her motorcycle and flew over the guardrail. He used his police and military training to save her life and calm her down until EMS arrived. Both surgeons and Christine say if it wasn't for Jasinski, she wouldn't have made it.
I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for you, and that's a fact. I love you. I love your caring heart, your family, what you did, so unselfish, such a humble man.
I wouldn't be standing here today if she didn't have the will to live and the perseverance and go through as much adversity as she went through to be here today. So.
Well, heroes don't always wear capes, Betsy, but they often wear blue. And that was a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
Well, we are out of time, but we are back on Monday. We hope you have a fantastic weekend.
What Matters Most with Laura starts right now.
Breaking news. Another day, another list of Browns players testing positive for COVID. Tonight, the NFL is stepping in to postpone the game, calling in the guard.
Our capacity is really